think I have the right to, if I can't prove it, I don't have to receive it. Now, my common sense is telling me now that maybe the man is not the head of the household. And my reasoning is because of the term neter, which is what we use to refer to it in reference to our higher power as African spirit in the African spiritual system. Okay, neter, which meant nature, and which we pay very attention to nature to learn the personality of God. I have a science background, and when we want to find out about a people, we study the artifacts in order to find out what these people did back then, what did they use this for, and what have you. If you want to study and figure out who God is, you don't have to have a book. God's handprints are on everything on this earth. All you've got to look at nature. Look at the sun, the moon, the stars. Look at the grass, the food, the air, and all of these things. Nature. You look at nature and you can figure out who's the personality of our God. Now, a house. My home is really a nest for and for you as a man, your wife. It is her nest. And from what I've learned, just looking at nature, this should be so easy to get. So easy to get. Everyone, in order to find God, you should not have to enroll in school, learn how to read, learn how to do this, have somebody to preach and teach to you and tell you all about. You should be able to find God just on looking at his creation, just studying and not taking life for granted. And as we read, yes, that's an extra bonus for us to be able to go more in depth. But in reference to understanding who God is and how we are to operate, the woman is the head of her nest. A kitten is the mother cat who is the head of her nest. It is the mother bird who is the head of her nest. It is every animal I know. It's the mama up in there operating. And if you look at it, I don't care what you say, most women are running these households. And it's probably natural. But you know, when the strife came in, when I decided that I was the head of the household and it had to be run the way I said so. Well, if my wife was not good enough to run the nest of my children, then maybe I shouldn't have planted any seed there. A woman is taught by her mother and God how to establish her nest and to raise her children instinctively. It is already there. And all that is not there, God would give it to her. So why was I in there causing problems? Every time I would come home, the children had this thing. My mother, my wife, ex-wife would say, "Is it daddy clean?" Because I was putting in that household what my mother taught me, which my mother is my queen. Your wife is not your queen. Your wife is the queen of the children. And she's going to teach those children the things that God has already put in her. And you should never put anyone before your queen, before your mother. Honor your mother and your father. So your mother is the one that breastfed you, brought you into life. This ankh, which I wear, and the one that I used to teach with, is about feminine and masculine energy in that household. And a whole lot of confusion could have been reduced in my household if I had been teaching on that principle. But the principle that I was teaching on was that I was the head of this house, and this house needs to look the way my mother raised me. If she was not good enough, then I should not have chosen her. And I'm not saying yay or nay, but I'm saying for you, as young men and women, kings and queens, I suggest you make a psychological shift and prove all things from this scripture, because this is where the source of our agitation and strife in our household began. When a woman has the rule over her nest, that is her flock, God will teach her and show her what's the best way to do this, what's the best way to do that, from her perspective. But I and most men, if you're being the head of your household and you're trying to run that place from your perspective, you take away the woman's gift from God to be able to endow her children with the blessings that come from her. So, with that, please. Hello family, this is Mr. E. If you would like to support the works of Mr. E or any of Ezel's productions, you may make your donations at Cash App. You will use $EKUFIE, EKUFIE, or you may make your payments through check or money order made out to Anthony Ezel or to Ezel's Productions, LLC. That address is P.O. Box 492, Jackson, Alabama, 36545. Or you may contact us at the phone number of 251-709-1123. Thank you.